This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Yeah, I was excited about the schedule we were able to put together. It was a little more challenging this year. I think everyone that is in the profession usually has a bit of an aversion to scheduling a team or program that's got the amount of points and rebounding statistics that we have returning. So it made it a little more difficult to navigate. That being said, I think we've got a ton of neutral games that'll really test our group. And obviously some of the venues in which we're going on the road, East Carolina, Joe Dooley does a terrific job. Will Wade at LSU, you know the success that they've had. I think those will be challenging. Back to Vanderbilt. We did that because my wife really likes going to Nashville. But no, I think we're going to be really challenged in the non-conference. But that's what I want. I feel like that only prepares you for what will be, again, a really competitive Atlantic Sun Conference season, and we need that those reps and that preparation so that we get exposed to what we're not or whom we're not.
What about that stretch there in December where you're on the road for basically a month? I mean, is that a good thing for the guys to kind of come together and build some chemistry?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, the schedule is what it is. Again, I think in the ASUN, we either start with 3 games in a row, and to some that might be a point of contention. I think it always balances out that, you know, the Spurs have to go on the road for a month in San Antonio because of, not quite a month, but they're gone for 2.5 weeks, I think, because of the rodeo. And it used to happen at UNLV when I was there for similar reasons. But I just think that when you're on the road, it does unite your team because you're spending so much time together. But I think any things that we can manufacture that might give us a chance to be tested or go through something adverse usually ends up, if we handle it well, it usually ends up being for the good.
Is it exciting to open at home against Radford and kind of get that in-state rivalry going again?
Exciting from the standpoint that we get to play against a really well-coached team that has a returning backcourt that we're very familiar with. I think I hear the name Carlik Jones at least once a week, and rightfully so. He's a terrific player. I saw one of the coaches on the road, can't remember which one, but whomever he beat with the last second shot, I think it was Barclay Radeball. I think he got Carlik like we did, and we're not the only coaches. So hopefully we can avoid that on November the 8th. But I do think that rivalry is a natural, and we go back to Radford the following year. And I think our fans, if you remember back the Big South Championship from our last season in the conference, that was a great atmosphere. So hopefully we can recreate that.
You had this similar trip last year where you guys went to Alabama, Florida, out to UCLA, a lot of time on the road. With as much of the nucleus back, does that help that those guys are well prepared for the lengthy stretches on the road?
I think each year is different, and I think we would be naive to think that chemistry can be bottled. I just feel like for us, what is important, even though we have an experienced team, is that we stay committed to being about the process and not taking anything for granted, not taking the little details that have added value to our person or to our program lightly. And Dame, I just think for our basketball program, we just want to keep getting better every day. And sure, whenever you've been somewhere before, you kind of know what to expect, but it doesn't mean that it'll turn out the same way as it did in the past. So I hope we have the maturity to be in process and not be in results based, because I think if we do, we've got a chance to field a pretty competitive team.
You look at a guy like Elijah coming into his 3rd year. Is he a guy that you think can, really take that next step further and kind of, I don't want to say have a breaking out year because he's had a good year, good career to this point, but do you think he has another level to him?
Elijah is one of those players that when it comes to winning a game, you trust. And most of the time, a month from now, probably 3 months from now, the questions that I'll get asked is, how do you replace Lavelle Cavill? And I don't think you do. I think it's, again, a falsity that you can take a team, especially a team that people liked or appreciated that won however many games, and just replace the players that are leaving with new players or existing players to play the same role. Not possible. And I'm old enough in this to not even try to do that. Every team is different, and every player has a different set of skills that we deem as valuable. Elijah Cuffey helped us a ton last year. I don't see that changing. The thing that you'll notice or you'll appreciate the most is how much more confident he's become because how much he's invested in his game. He's a really good player and an even better person.
I want to ask you about the Bahamas trip. Last time tried to go on one of those. The hurricane played tricks on you, unfortunately, but with the
good thing we don't have to knock on wood, right?
Right. But was it important for you to get a trip like that again and try this again and try to get down there?
I did it for the competition. Like, we'll play in any tournament that will afford us a chance to play up, if you will. And when we heard about the teams that were going to be in there, those are really good names. Like, hard to get home and homes with mid-major teams. At least it's been hard for us. So if you remember the Paradise Jam, I think that had Houston, Mercer, Wake Forest. So like, you'll see that as a norm for us if we can get someone to invite us. You have to be invited to those, but we're very aggressive in scheduling. We really try and challenge our guys, and obviously it's a great destination, and we're excited to be a part of the Island of the Bahamas tournament. And I've been there. If you can talk your bosses into it, you'll want to go too. And that absolutely that'll be fun. But I've also been to Maui with Virginia, and it's not so fun if you're not winning. So you don't see much outside the hotel. So I hope I can avoid that by maybe winning a few games or a couple games in that deal.
Were you looking at the same thing with the Battle of the Capital to get some good mid-major teams on the schedule to really test you guys?
Yeah, it was hard to find home games. So instead of going to play as many buys as we did last year, guarantee games where people paid for us to come there, we went the neutral route. And Towson's a really good program. Akron, you guys are familiar with how good they are. And Tulane, Ron Hunter's, I've seen enough games with Ron Hunter to know how good of a program he has. So we thought that would be good for us, and it was drivable. Having left the Big South, there's not many games that we're afforded an opportunity to play that are a bus trip. So we decided to jump on that one.
You've kind of alluded to it a couple times, but after the success you had last year, was it noticeably more difficult to get games this year?
Yes, it was noticeably more difficult to get games. And, again, that's natural, though. I talked to a coach at Lipscomb who's now at Belmont that said they had a nightmare time scheduling after they won, however many they won, and went to the NCAA tournament. I think it's natural, especially with the Power Fives or some of the Power Five conferences going to 20 league games. There's less opportunities for mid-majors. So, again, it's why we're aggressive. We're really open-minded. We play anyone home and home that we felt like was a Power Five or a high mid-major. And I think that'll be something that we pursue as long as and as much as we can.